And by the time you finish watching this video, I hope that you stop. Seriously, my hope is that you just stop being bothered. Stop caring. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I want you to stop. So first of all, where are my manners? Thank y'all for tuning back into the video. If you're returning, if this is your first time here and you landed here, welcome. I share videos with the purpose and passion of helping you live in your very best life by maximizing your purpose, your identity, so you can live in excellence on your journey. I want us to talk, and I want you to realize that the time that you spend on caring about certain things in life, that same time you can be putting toward being more productive, more prosperous, and just elevating your life to the next level. So I'm going to be sharing with you how I became unbothered. Let me just explain what I mean by being unbothered. I don't let certain things be my concern anymore. I don't allow certain things to bother me anymore, the response out of me anymore, to worry me. Matter of fact, I don't let anything worry me. I am not a person who worries, because if it's big enough for me to have to change it, I'm going to change it. Or if it's something out of my control, I'm definitely not going to stay up at night tossing and turning or hindering my life, worrying about things I can't control. So I want that same thing for you, because the more that you become unbothered, meaning like you understand what is your priority and what is your concern and what is not, the more free that your life becomes. And the more free that your life becomes, the more productive and peaceful your life becomes, the more happy that you are, the better your life feels, the more things you can do to become your best. And the cycle just continues to repeat itself. I think these past 2 years of my life, I've become unbothered. I've become more productive on a level that I never knew existed until I got here. When I arrived to the land called unbothered, carefree, stress-free, I never want to leave this island. I never want to leave this place. There are just some things in your life that you should not be wasting your time on. And I'm a firm believer in that. Your time does not belong to everyone. Your concern does not belong to everyone. Your effort, your intelligence, your feelings, your emotions don't belong to everybody. Everyone should not be able to get a piece of your emotions and how you're feeling and access your heart and access your thoughts and access, your life. So today we're going to get into why it's so important to become unbothered and become more productive. Okay. One thing that I'm really, really passionate about, and one thing that really irritates me, is when I see other people allowing others to dictate how they live their life, how they wear their clothes, how they eat their food, how they have a relationship with God, how they live out their dreams and their goals. When I see people allowing others to rule that aspect of their life, it frustrates me. People ask me all the time, how am I so focused? How do I get so productive? How can I accomplish so much in a set of time? How am I able to start a business? How am I able to serve in multiple capacities? I wrote a book last year called The Intentional Woman, a guide for the multifaceted, multi-gifted, purpose-filled woman. Okay. And in writing that book, it was kind of like paying homage to women who feel like they have so much to give. They have multiple talents, multiple gifts, multiple responsibilities. However, they need a way to manage all of that. Because sometimes, y'all, just to be clear, when you're a man or woman who has a lot of gifts or a lot of talents and a lot of abilities, people can sometimes shame you for that. Sometimes people will see all of those gifts or those abilities that are in you, and they'll try to shame you for not living in a box. And guess what? This is where becoming unbothered is very beneficial, because I don't let anyone limit me. I don't let anybody hinder me or box me in when I know God created me to launch, soar, and stand out. And so you have to become unbothered in order to navigate through those things. I do a lot of different things. And one thing I've had to learn in my life is that Because I'm multi-gifted and multi-talented, there are different seasons where I have to put more focus on a certain thing. And that means another thing may have to take less of a focus, less of a priority in my life. And to some people, they don't understand that. The art of becoming unbothered means knowing what to prioritize, what to concern yourself with, and what to make effort and change toward. Okay. That's simply put what it means. So there's a lot of things that people are going to think about you, perceive about you, feel about you. And those things, if they're not a person that is in your direct sphere of life, they shouldn't bother you. For example, for me, I would never get upset about an opinion of a stranger who's never met me, whether that be online, whether that be in a community, whether that be in public. If you are a stranger and you do not know me, you don't have a relationship with me, and you haven't had a conversation with me, I am never going to let your opinion bother me. I will give you the freedom to either dislike me, misunderstand me, feel a way about me that's negative, and I will be perfectly content with that because you do not know me. And even when it comes to people that do know you, like a family member, a coworker, a community person at your church, person that you have to be around for a certain amount of time, if those people are still not a part of your circle or your immediate sphere of life, I don't care if you're related to them. They probably really don't know you either. So you should not let their opinion, their perception, their feelings and actions towards you bother you. And I find so many times that we do that. People pleasing is rooted in so many things. And one of the things is idolatry, because a lot of times we unknowingly make people idols. We unknowingly make people gods over us because we value their opinion, their preferences, their cultural values, their spiritual values. We value that about them more than we value our own self, and more than we even value what God has placed in us. You got to really get out of fearing people and what they're going to think if you don't agree with them, or if you don't live a life that they're telling you or bullying you or manipulating you to live, because that's really what it is. Anybody who is trying to push you to live a way that you don't want to live, it's either bullying, manipulation, or control. There's no other way to put it. Unless like you're 2 years old and it's your parent, then you got to do what they tell you. But if you're an adult, and most of the people that watch my channel are either young adults or they're middle-aged adults or they're somewhere in between. But most people who watch this channel are adults. I don't think I have any 10-year-olds watching my YouTube. But if you do, shout out to you. You can stay. But I'm really talking to adults here, right? So as an adult, you have freedom to live the life that you were called and designed to live. And sometimes that goes against the grain of what other people are going to agree with. And you got to be okay with that, right? You cannot live your life in the shadows of what somebody else is going to say, do, feel, or believe about you if you go in another direction. You can actually alter your own destiny by choosing to live in the bondage of other people's opinions, their actions, what they got to say about you. Let me tell you how you can alter your destiny. Let's just say you had an opportunity to have a certain job and the job required you to move across the country. Maybe this location that you got this opportunity was something that you always wanted. Let's just say you live in the East and you got an opportunity to move out west to California. And let's say it was always your dream to move to California. And it was always your dream to do this said job. And that opportunity finally came, but then you folded because somebody in your family spoke against you moving out to California and taking that job. You now have altered the opportunity, the blessing, in the direction that God actually set the stage for you to do. Not because God said it was wrong, not because God said you shouldn't do it or because you couldn't do it. It's because you allowed a person's opinion to control your beliefs, your actions, and then you didn't take the job. Now you're living in the East Coast past the time you should be here, and you're upset, you're resentful, you feel like life is unfulfilled. Maybe you become angry. Maybe you start living in a way that's unproductive because you altered your destiny because you could not use the courage that was placed on the inside of you to move where you wanted to go. Now, these type of people that I'm getting ready to mention, they cannot be stopped. One, the type of person who knows who they are. When you have a strong identity in knowing who you are it's going to be very hard for people to control you. And when you are hard to control, sometimes people are going to say things like you're hard to deal with, or what they're really saying in some instances is that you're hard to manipulate. They cannot let their opinion of you doesn't move you. So they sometimes try to twist it and say these negative things, but will benefit from you being that way. The minute you stop being a doormat and you stop being somebody that they can take advantage of, you're going to become a problem. But guess what? That's okay. You only become a problem to people that benefited from manipulating you, controlling you, making you feel small, making you believe that you should still be small when God created you to expand, grow, and increase. There's actually a scripture in the Bible that says that you should increase more and more. There's also another scripture in the Bible that says your latter days will be greater than your former days. What that tells me is that I should be growing in life. I should be expanding in my mind. I should be expanding in the things that I desire. I should be expanding in the way that I operate. So the way that I was at 20 is not the way that I'm going to be at 25. It's not going to be the way that I was at 30. It's not going to be the way that I was at 35. I'm in my mid to late 30s, baby. Something got to shake. So you just have to learn, like, when you know who you are and you know the direction that you're going in life, that helps you to become unbothered, okay? I want you to become unbothered. I want you to be so unshakable that if somebody says they now hate you, who used to love you, and you know that there's nothing that you've done to them to cause it, that you are able to still walk with your head up and you can be okay with that, right? I like to give people full permission to dislike me, to hate me, to not want to be around me, to discontinue communication with me. I give anybody in my life full permission because I realize that we're all going to change in life. And hey, maybe if I was your cup of tea back in the day, I'm no longer your cup of tea because I've grown, or maybe you've grown. I don't know, but it's fine. You have to allow growth to happen and you have to move on with a focus and stop letting certain things bother you. So one thing I've experienced in the past couple of years is how people act when they no longer have access to you. There were people in the past seasons of my life who I gave like unlimited access to my life. They knew a lot about me. I spoke to them regularly. We did things together. I had maybe like a deep respect for them, a deep love for them. But then somewhere along the lines, with some people, it changed due to their stewardship of me. When I find that people just don't know how to steward me, I do adjust that relationship just for the betterment of my life and theirs. When people no longer have the same access to you, they will sometimes create narratives. They will sometimes get upset. They will sometimes try to make you out to be a bad person. They will sometimes make you out to be like an enemy, like something terrible happened between you, when in reality, nothing bad happened between you and the person. I've learned that it's okay. I now let people create whatever narrative about me that they want. I used to get so bent out of shape when somebody would tell a lie on me, or they would say something about me that wasn't true, or they would misconstrue something about me that I know I didn't say. They'd tell a friend like, oh, she stopped talking to me, I guess because of this. And I knew in my heart that was the furthest thing from the truth. It would bother me. I would be like, why would they say that when I know that's not the case? But now, over the years, I've learned people are going to say what they want. And a lot of times, a lot of people are going to say things that are not true because telling the truth would take too much work on their part. Being honest would take too much work. So a lot of times people rather lead with a lie or created narrative to tell somebody, because if they told the truth about your connection or your relationship ending or your friendship ending, it would require them to also tell what they did to contribute. If somebody does not like me and I know I have not done anything to them, or maybe I've tried to gain understanding of them and they've never tried to gain it of me, I do not care, because this is what I've learned. People who are committed to misunderstanding you, they're going to misunderstand you on purpose. People who are committed to disliking you, they're going to be disliking you on purpose. I don't care how you try to go out of your way for them. I don't care how you try to break things down to them. I don't care how you try to show them more of your heart and how you're actually a cool person. If they're committed to feeling a certain way about you, if they're committed to perceiving you in a negative light, that is a decision that they made. Let them make that decision. On the other hand, if you have people in your life who truly love you, they're genuine, they want to be a part of your life, they are going to gain clarity about you. They are going to ask questions if they're not sure. They are going to want to gain the truth and understanding. So I would just tell you, let it be. I am okay with being the villain in somebody's story. I'm okay with being the bad person in somebody's eyes, because I'm not going to waste my precious time and energy and love to try to twist somebody else's perception. Now, what I am going to do for those that I'm called to living with, loving, and if I have a relationship with somebody, I'm going to put forth the effort for them, right? For people that are in my life that I know are my friends, people that I know genuinely love me, people that I know genuinely care for me, I will go to the ends for some people in my life. I will go above and beyond. I will talk on the phone for an hour to gain clarity and understanding. I will do what I need to do for people that I know I'm supposed to do that for, or that I care to do that for. But there's some people I don't give them the effort because we don't have the relationship. We don't have the communication. We don't have the same mind. We don't have the same tolerance. We don't have the same goals. We don't have the same respect, right? If I'm a person, I'm very respectful of how I talk to people. So when I communicate, I don't believe in toxic communication. I don't believe in name calling. I don't believe in swearing. That's just not my style. Been there, done that in the earlier years of my life. I just don't live there anymore. So what I don't deal with is people talking to me using all this profanity at me or just being downright disrespectful to me. I just don't deal with it, and I don't argue about it. I just distance myself from those type of people, whether you're a family member, friend, coworker, whatever. Well, not friend, because I wouldn't be friends with somebody who was toxic in that manner. But with my friends, me and my friends, we love each other, we uplift each other, we care for each other. So if there's a misunderstanding or something we need to talk about, I'm going to invest that in my friend, right? I care about my friend. I will definitely be bothered with my friends, with my family, my spouse, my husband, my heart, he's my partner. I'm going to be bothered with him. A lot of times I would tell him, I don't care if you sleepy, we working out, whatever we need to talk about, because it's important. Yeah, but other than that, if people don't have priority in your life, pick and choose what you allow to be a priority. And I would say it's okay if you don't respond. Now, there are some situations where you should confront people because, even if we're going biblical, the Bible tells us if we have an alt with somebody who is our brother, our sister, we should definitely go to them. But again, that's a certain priority, because if they're a brother or sister, that's somebody of the same faith and the same beliefs. You should want to work out things with those people. However, if it's somebody that just is not on your side, they don't have the same mind as you, they might be toxic, you might be light, they may be darkness. So I wouldn't always confront those type of people, because I feel like that's where you get these crazy confrontations. These people will turn a narrative on you and make it seem like you combated with them and you really just went to them purely just asking a question or trying to gain clarity and understanding. And because they have that spirit of offense in them, or because they just have that jealousy toward you, or because they already have that toxicity in them, they will blow up an entire situation. Once you get the art of being unbothered and truly living your life for you, you will be so okay with not being liked, not being understood by some, not being picked. Imagine not being picked by people, but being chosen and favored by God. Imagine that. That's a real thing. Being chosen by God is going to cause you just to be looked upon a certain way anyway. When you have a certain momentum in your life, you have a certain mindset, you have a certain confidence, you have a certain posture, you have a certain way that you live your life, you're going to be a target anyway. So just get used to that and not let it bother you, right? Again, let me leave you with this. No one can alter your destiny but you. No one can block your blessings but you. Ask yourself when things happen or are said about you or done to you, is this really important in my life? Is this a person that I really need to prioritize caring about, what they said, what they did? Or is this something that I just need to let roll off my back? Is this something I just need to just go on and I'm just continuing to fly high. Being unbothered and having the art of being unbothered and carefree is so that you can develop a thick skin, but never having a hard heart. God does not want you to be hard-hearted. He doesn't want you to let experiences just make you calloused, bitter, angry, resentful. None of those things should be your portion. I believe it's important for you to be able to live a carefree, stress-free life, one that is able to be full of productivity, peace, clarity, and power, so that you can go on living the life that you were created and called to live. People are going to say and think what they want. They can do what they want to you, but it is how you respond that makes all the difference. And sometimes the best response is none. No response, no revenge, none of that. Just live your life free. And that's all you got to do.